Donald Trump tweeted that he is doing what he can to help save this Chinese phone company, a company who American intelligence agencies have suggested that we do not do business with because they're using their phones to spy on Americans. They're also violating sanctions against doing business with Iran, and it's a whole debacle.
Right.
But keep talking about everything else and don't pay attention to what's really going on.
Right. I believe that white boy will sell to anybody, which he has done. He only gives a shit about himself. He has sold this country off. It was Thomas Jefferson who said, if you let the bankers get involved, we are screwed. And that's what happened. He said it years ago, and we did it. And we're getting screwed by the bankers. That's why Wells Fargo got caught for the shit that they were doing. That's why we got screwed on the housing market when it was going on. And people say, oh, look what Obama did. Obama didn't do anything. You handed him a fucked up economy, and you handed him 3 wars. 3 wars we shouldn't get in, and then you got to turn around. And
the Republicans are doing everything they can to deregulate industries like banking and take regulations away, take away any oversight, both in private business and government, so that their pals can walk away without leaving a dollar on the table and screwing anyone who isn't already,
we basically have to, in our lives, scrimp and save, and just, you got to take care of yourself, because the government's going to fuck you.
I've said all the time, you have to learn how to systematically survive in our society. You have to have a game plan. Even it's practical, it's smart. You have to critical think. You have to be able to function on a regular basis, so where you can enjoy your life. If you don't, you're not going to make it. You'll be in a tent, sitting on the side of the road, my thing is, I'd even have to say, even if I was in a tent, I'm not hanging out with any other homeless people. I'm going to try to find a way, because you hang with broke people, that you're not going to make any progress. You need to hang with folks that's going to help you find and get more. You can find more money or whatever, get yourself back on track. People do have downfalls, but you can't stay there. You have to be able to and that's what welfare was for. Welfare was to help you get on your feet. It was not for you to stay there for 3, 4, 5 years. That's not what it was built for. It was to help you get on your feet, and which they don't talk about. Poor white folks were on welfare, or more white people on welfare than there are blacks, but they always show blacks and Hispanics on welfare, but then they do white people on welfare.
Yeah, my mom and I were driving the other day, and at the stoplight, we were next to this clearly very poor white woman in a car that was just the dumpiest car I have ever seen. And my mom was like, wow, growing up in Nicaragua and coming to this country, I never thought that poverty like that was here, and much less that it affected white people. But it does, and it's real. It's there.
Yeah, so. It has always been there. I mean, and actually, and a lot of them don't feel like they can survive. They don't feel, because the game keeps changing. If you keep changing it, everybody can't keep up. And I just realized that. I mean, I'm watching more and more. That's why people start turning to drugs. I don't want to live. I'm trying to escape. Everybody wants to escape and get away. And and the rich aren't happy either.
Well, and a lot of the homeless are veterans. Yeah. Also, that
they've never done well by the veteran. They've never. I don't care how far back in the wars that you can think of. We have never treated our vets very well.
It's so wrong.
I mean, they can say we're down for the veterans, and no, you're not, because they're all over the place, and they got tons of issues, because you don't deprogram them once they come back. You program them to go to war, but you don't deprogram them to get them to where they can function in society.
Yeah.
And when you don't do that, I mean, so you just turn them over next thing you know. And there are no mental institutions. Where do they go mentally? There are no institutions for these people. Reagan closed them all up, privatized every damn thing.
America.
America.
Well, one of our other crowning achievements this week was getting Gina Haspel approved to run the CIA, and we're talking about the horrible things that happen in war, and one of the things that I thought was really interesting about the way this story was handled in the news this week was that everyone focused on her history in the CIA torturing people at a black site. And I'm certainly not saying, that given that any sort of approval, I think waterboarding is torture. I think torturing people is wrong. I think we're America. If we want to hold ourselves as exceptional, then we have to hold ourselves to a higher standard, which includes not torturing people. But with everything that's going on in D.C. around the president and talk about obstruction of justice and trying to silence whistleblowers and leaks, one of the biggest problems I had with Haspel, in addition to the torture, was that she ordered the destruction of video of the torture, ostensibly to protect the identities of the CIA agents that were, caught on video torturing people. But it bothers me that I get it. It's politics, of course. She was bound to come around and say, in retrospect, yeah, torture is bad, because back then she didn't know that it was going to get in the way of her promotion. So, yeah, in retrospect, probably shouldn't have tortured people. But nobody really made any issue of her destroying evidence of the torture. And I think politically that is much more relevant to what's going on in D.C.
Yeah.
So well, you kind of got to wonder: was it deliberate that nobody was bringing it up? That they just focused on the torture to destruction of evidence?
I guess they thought the torture was they wanted that was one of the worst things she could have. They wanted to get her on. I mean, they didn't think about the other part of that.
Well, I mean, I think they come part and parcel. You do something bad, their tapes, you're going to destroy them. So maybe people just assumed that just goes with it. Of course you're going to cover up evidence. You don't just murder somebody and then just leave all your fingerprints behind. You wipe them off.
We were talking about the idiot out in Aliso Viejo who bombed his ex-girlfriend at work this week.
Oh my God.
Tymon and I were talking about that before the show, and I realize I'm not the most stable person in the world, so this isn't going to paint a brighter picture of me, but I was watching the news. This guy was known to have experience with explosives. For a hobby, he builds rockets. If people know that about you and you're going to kill someone, poison them. Don't blow them up, because when they get blown up, everyone is going to know, hey, who could have possibly have done that? I don't know, maybe the guy who built rockets? Nah.
Her ex-boyfriend who likes to blow things up? Yeah. Oh my gosh. People are dumb. Although, you gotta say, anyone who's gonna kill somebody is probably someone who doesn't have, a little bit of their brain is missing that regulates emotions and maybe even logic.
But you have to really think that when someone decides that they're going to kill someone. I mean, it's because now it's just happening. It's I'm going to kill my girlfriend, or I got a call from a buddy of mine. He says, "Hey man, I'm going to kill Calvin." And I said, "Why?" Well, he said something about my dead brother. So because he said something about your dead brother, you want to go kill him? Yes, you know how close I was to my brother, and what he said to me was very wrong. And
they're coming for us.
I said, "You're how old?" He said, "I'm 54. I said, "Yeah." I said, "When was the last time you've been on the inside of a cell?" He said, "I'm not going to jail." Yes, you are.
Yeah.
I work with criminals. You're going.
Oh
but by all means, kill him.
How do you know I'm going to get caught? Well, your first instinct was to call someone and say, "I'm going to kill this guy."
Yeah.
Right.
And you're not that good. Okay, stop it. You're not. You can watch all the CSI you want. Sorry, you're not going to get away with it.
It's one person. It's the killer against a team of people who are paid to do this and have done it a million times.
Profilers.
No, you're gonna lose every time.
I mean, you think about it. I mean, sir, I've only been locked up 6 times. Only. I said, they knew you were coming. How'd they know that? Look at your file. How thick is it? Yeah, you understand what that is? That's called profile.
Yeah, which goes back to Gina Haspel, which is It's absurd that she's even qualified for this job. Like, that should clearly disqualify you, right?
One would think.
B, the fact is, it's not like they don't know she's going to do it again.
Yeah,
she's going to do it again.
During her hearing, she was, well, I seriously doubt the president would ask me to do that. He, on the campaign trail, he said waterboarding isn't enough.
He's hiring her so that she will do that, because he knows she will. That was, like, people, oh my God, I can't believe she's qualified for it. No, she is qualified for exactly what he wants. He knows what he's doing when he's putting her in this position.
Yeah, it's like Scott Pruitt at the EPA. It's like, is he qualified to run the EPA as it traditionally should be run? No. As Trump wants it run? Yeah.
But you know what? It's almost like with police officers and people who work in law enforcement. She is backed by all her people. Other CIA people believe that she's probably the best for the job because she's been there a long time. She worked her way up. She may not be the greatest when it came to the torture, but they said the chick knows her stuff. She's no dummy. I mean, and she probably is going to get back because other CIA people who are in the CIA, guys been around for a while, say, hey, you know what? She can't do any worse than the other ones. You know, and that's where she's getting her support from.
Well, maybe we got to hope for the best, and
right.
That 5% chance or whatever that she has changed, maybe, or at least that people around her will be like, yeah, let's not do the torture thing.
Right. I mean, they've never had a woman in that position, and obviously, they think she's probably the best qualified of the females that they did interview. I don't know how many more females they interviewed, but if the one that they did, she's best qualified. She's probably more qualified than some of the men who are probably still into waterboarding.
Well, I think going back to what Kat was saying about her hiring process, I think maybe Gina Haspel is a little overqualified. We need someone who can actually rein it in a little bit. That's all I'm saying. We barely have time to talk about this because we only have a couple minutes left. But we had 2 school shootings yesterday.
2?
So, yeah, well, there was the shooting in Texas, and then in Atlanta there was a shooting after a graduation last night.
Ugh.
So, go America! One of the things, and one of the reasons this kind of came to mind, Tymon, we were talking about incompetent criminals. I say if you're going to be incompetent, go all the way. This kid who shot up the school in Texas yesterday, according to his journals, he intended to commit suicide after shooting up the school, but lacked the courage. My suggestion to aspiring shooters, start with the suicide. Nobody does that.
Yeah.
Nobody does that. You're going to be the first.
I miss the days when suicide was the epidemic. Like, that was the thing. Like, what was it? The early 2000s, the emo? Like, I'm going to cut myself.
You know,
kill myself.
Suicides are up among teenagers, specifically girls. Yeah. That was another big news story.
One more reason women are better. You know, we just kill ourselves. We don't go around committing school shootings.
Yeah. So while we do not advocate suicide or shooting up your school, if you have to shoot up your school, try suicide first.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
What do these parents do wrong? I gotta wonder what step do they skip? Because I'd like to make sure I don't skip that step. Like,
I'm skipping the step of having children. That seems to be working pretty well for me.
I mean, that's so terrifying. And I think as I get older as a woman, get closer in years to when I hope I'll have children, even though I'm still in my 20s. But but I'm thinking like it's becoming more real. Especially I'm currently in a long-term relationship, and we've been together a year, and now I'm thinking about serious things, and I'm like, oh, kids are a real possibility sometime, like 5 years from now. And I'm planning out my life around that, and I'm putting money away for that, or financially planning so that I can have loans paid off by the time I have kids. And it makes me realize just how much more of a big deal it is when you lose a child. It's not just losing somebody you love. It's your life has changed.
It's an investment.
It's an investment. You have shaped everything you did for the past probably 10 years before you even had the child. Well, if you're lucky and you get to have kids in your 30s instead of 20s or teens, right?
If your life goal isn't a reality show on MTV.
Right, exactly. Like, oh my God, your life is shaped